In Patna, millions of students share a single goal: passing the government exams to secure a stable future. For many, that path runs directly through Cancer. With 25 million subscribers, he built an institution by breaking down complex topics and offering education at a price that students from Bihar's poorest districts can actually afford. His reach extends into basic survival. He recently opened a hospital in Patna, where a blood test costs 7 rupees and an ECG is 25. These are prices lower than what many government-run facilities charge, making him a lifeline for the local youth. But on the night of June 2, 2026, his coaching center was targeted. A mob of 15 to 20 people descended on the building in the dark, throwing stones and destroying the office and signage. A security guard was beaten until he was hospitalized, and the sound of 8 to 10 gunshots echoed through the neighborhood. Within days, the situation took an unexpected turn. The man whose center was attacked and whose staff was nearly beaten to death was no longer being treated as the victim. He was now the primary suspect. The police pivot was immediate. Instead of focusing on the mob, they charged Cancer with attempt to murder and violations of the Arms Act. A coordinated media campaign followed. News anchors branded him absconding, used the term coaching mafia, and aggressively pushed his legal name, Faisal Khan, to frame the incident through a communal lens. The official explanation was a rivalry with a nearby institute over exam results, but that narrative struggles to account for why an SIT was suddenly conducting raids across multiple districts, or why national media houses were suddenly investigating his personal property holdings. The resources deployed, from special investigation teams to prime-time character assassinations, suggested this was not a simple dispute between two local coaching centers. To understand why the entire weight of the state was suddenly leaning on one teacher, we have to look at what happened 30 days earlier. On May 3rd, the NEET exam was conducted for 2.2 million students, but the paper had already been leaked, and the subsequent cancellation left millions of families in a state of crisis. Many of these students come from families who live below the poverty line. To afford the exam fees and the travel to testing centers, parents took out high-interest loans or mortgaged their jewelry. For them, the leak wasn't just a delay, it was a financial catastrophe. The government responded by suggesting the Air Force could be used to transport future papers. Critics, including Cancer, pointed out that the issue wasn't the mode of transport, it was the internal corruption at the printing and setting stages. Cancer used his platform to demand the education minister's resignation. He called the testing agency thieves and documented the physical and financial toll the failure had taken on his students. By focusing the anger of millions of students directly on the government's competence, Cancer's role shifted. He was no longer just an educator, he was a direct challenge to the political establishment. The friction came to a head on May 29th during a televised debate. Instead of questioning the government's role in the leak, anchor Anjana Omkashap insulted the teachers standing with the students, calling them worthless and claiming they were only chasing views. Cancer's response went viral. He called the anchor a fraud and a peddler of fake news, accusing her of acting as a shield for the government. The sequence of events that followed was rapid. 4 days after that viral clash, his coaching center was physically attacked in the middle of the night. On June 5th, the police officially added his name to an FIR. That same week, fire safety officials suddenly arrived to issue non-compliance notices, threatening to shut down his operations within 7 days. Then, on June 7th, the anchor he had insulted filed a 20 million rupee defamation case against him in the Delhi High Court. The attack, the criminal charges, the fire safety shutdown, and the massive lawsuit all landed within 9 days of his public criticism of the media and the government. This wasn't an isolated incident. As students across the country began to protest the exam leaks, the Uttar Pradesh government simultaneously seized 3 other major coaching centers whose teachers had joined the demonstrations. The tactics used follow a specific pattern: use communal identities to isolate the leaders, and attempt to compromise the movement by introducing figures who shift the conversation toward national security rather than corruption. At a student protest in Jantar Mantar, a video began circulating of a man supporting the division of the country. He was immediately used by pro-government accounts to frame the entire student movement as anti-national. However, it was later revealed that the man was a lawyer sent to the protest specifically to make those statements on camera. These figures are deployed to ensure the media cycle focuses on sensationalism rather than the systemic failure of the education system. By targeting Concert, the message to other influencers was clear. The establishment's greatest concern is a demographic that is educated, united, and focused on government accountability, and they will use every tool available to ensure those voices are silenced.